Welcome to Astrology Made Easy, Part 1, the houses. So we're going to make astrology easy by giving you memory cues, memory helpers, mnemonics, things like this to help you easily remember everything, and we're also going to greatly simplify basic astrology. So here's what astrology is. It's a what and a where. A what is like a planet, and a where is a house. We'll introduce signs later, but a what? Let's say I found a $100 bill on the ground, and your friend goes, "Where?" "Oh, at the gas station across the street." So the what is I found a $100 bill. The where is going to be obviously at the gas station. So let's say that you have, I saw a car wreck. Car wreck is the what. Where did you see the car wreck? Down on 21st Street. Okay, so the what and the where. So in astrology terms, the what is going to be your planet. So this is your planet, and your planets have a variety of planets. We have one for love, one for communication, one for getting out of your shell and being creative and making yourself better, one for restriction to where everything is kind of compacted and not as bright. We have one for expansion where everything explodes and it's great. So the what is going to be your planet. Now the where is going to be your houses, your house. And we have 12 different houses. And there is a house for, let's say, work. So you have a house for work. So you have a house for your lover. You have a house for your siblings, your brothers, sisters, maybe your family. You have a house for your home, where you live. You have a house for your career and a house for yourself, right? So if you get both of these and you combine them, you basically get the essential syntax of astrology, which is what and where. For example, again, this is simplified, but this is so easy. I just want to make it easy just to explain it. Let's talk about Mercury. Mercury is a planet about communications. So we have the what of communications, and maybe we have a house of work. So now in the language of astrology, communication at work, right? Or maybe love at work. What does that mean? Maybe you want to appreciate your coworkers. Hey, bring a box of cookies. Who knows? Maybe you're going to have a good time at work because you love work during this period or whatever. But again, we have a very simplified language where we can use to describe astrology. So the planet and the house. So let's look at a basic planet-house combo. But before we do that, let's look at houses themselves. So a house is like the Lion King circle of life, all right? So, but instead of going clockwise, it goes counterclockwise, and it starts right here at house number 1. House number 1 is all about yourself. It's all about birth. It's all about existing. And you have the circle of life from birth all the way around to death. And death occurs at the afterlife, etc., occurs at the 12th house. Now, obviously, we're going to roam through the house, and they go 1, 2, 3, etc., all the way around to 12. So again, this is like the Lion King. You remember the Lion King song? The circle of life. My singing is terrible, but you know what I mean. The circle of life. It's all about the circle of life. So those are houses. These are basic houses that go around. So there are numerous systems of houses. We're using the simple, super simple beginner house. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way to 12. So each house represents something different. As you go through the circle of life, like you're born, for example, right? So we're going through the circle of life, and then you find out that you have possessions. Then you find out about your siblings and your family, and then you find out about your home, and then we roam around, and then you get married. We find out about lovers and love, and then we have a career, and then we get old, and then we die. So that's the circle of life. Start out at birth, we roam around, we do all the things that normal people do in life, and then we croak over right about here. So each house has a different thing associated with it. So what happens in astrology is basically we have a planet is going to go chill out in a house, and that's going to give us our language. So the planet of communication will chill out at our siblings. So now we have communication with our siblings, our brothers and sisters and whatnot, our communication with our parents, communication at work, etc. So let's start this with house number 1. What does house number 1 mean, and what would a planet chilling out in here be like? But before we dive in, what is this chart? Well, this is sort of a mapping of where all the planets were and all the constellations when you were born. This is called a natal chart. We have a natal chart. There are all sorts of different charts. Let's start off with a natal chart, and that means when you were born. So this is a mapping of where all the planets were when you were born. So this is the horizon, and this is the east, and it's mapped as such. So when you were born, for example, this is going to be the horizon. So the chart is leveled into 2 different sections. So the first section is your personal side. The bottom section is your personal side. This is all about you. This is about you. This is about your possessions, your home life, your siblings, etc., etc. The bottom part is the hidden, very personal side of you. So when we go house 1 through 6, we're going to be very personal because this is where you were born. And then you start finding yourself and discovering things about life. And that covers this bottom clock section. And that's all about you and your sort of a discovery of you, the world around you, and things like this. So now the top section, now that you have discovered yourself, and now that you sort of have a handle on how the world works and things like that, we're going to start interacting with the world. So we're going to have a spouse, and we're going to start a career, and all these other things are going to be how we interact with the outside world and how we sort of present ourselves to the outside world. So again, the bottom half is going to be very personal, very private, and then the top half is not going to be private at all. It's going to be sort of how you express yourself and how you wander into the world and how you do all this stuff. So just a FYI that you have this section up here is going to be super public and everybody knows about it, and this is going to be your own personal life. So we're going to start with your own personal life at the beginning, literally at birth. The first house is called the house of the self, and it is all about you. Easy way to remember it is I'm number 1. Think of the number 1. You know, in sports events, you'll have the big foam finger. I'm number 1. So think of the foam finger. I'm number 1. I'm number 1. Yeah! So the big foam finger, not the middle finger, the big index foam finger is going to be about yourself and number 1. So let's go back to the chart. So that is where it sits on the east, and it's where the sun rose on the day of your birth. It's the house of sunrise, new beginnings. It's focused on you, basically. It's you're discovering yourself. Now, when you're a baby and when you're born, you kind of, you know, you're trying to figure out stuff. You know that you're a separate being, and you know that you're a unique individual at this point, and you're not in the womb any longer. And so at birth, at yourself, at that journey towards being yourself. So what happens about communication? Let's talk about a planet. So here we have Mercury. By the way, let's give Mercury a big round of applause. Mercury is going to be our superstar planet of the day, and Mercury represents communication. Mercury is all about communication. It is represented here by Hermes, and Hermes is the messenger god. So very often used in commercials. Way back, it was used, I think, in FedEx commercials, and I mean, you see Hermes quite a bit all over the place. So he's all about communication, and Mercury as well is about that communication. So check it out. Mercury has decided to chill out in the first house. What does that mean? What does that mean? Let's go back to the chart. we got Mercury chilling out in the first house. He wants to be there. Let's see what he wants. We have the what? A planet, communication. So communication, where is going to be the first house in this case. So we have the house of the self. I'm number 1. And we have Mercury chilling out over there. So that translates, in other words, in our simple language of astrology that we've started here, that translates with communication and self. That could be how you communicate. We could be talking about how you yourself communicate. So I communicate, this is a good time for me to communicate. If he's going to chill out here, this is a good time to communicate. This is going to be great. Unless it's a bad, which we'll talk about later, then maybe that's a time when you need to watch your communication coming from you, or watch your general communication, right? So that is sort of our communication with our personality or things like this. I think the proper definition of this dude hanging out here means that you get the traits of sort of a Gemini, right? You're seen as a curious, you're seen as able to communicate. People are attracted to your communication because it's so good. And this is because you have Mercury chilling out over here in the first house. Again, the what is communication and Mercury, and the where is going to be the first house. So if you look at a chart right now, you can instantly read a chart. Congratulations, you can read a chart for the first house. So I mean, I'm joking, but this is so simple, right? I'm trying to make it simple, and when you look at it at a high level view, it is really simple. There's nothing horrifically complex about this. It will get more complex later, but for the purposes of just basic tutorial 101, we're pretty firm and set in how all of this works. Thank you to our superstar of the day, Mercury. So the second stage of our journey is going to be the second house. So the foam number 1, because you are number 1 for the first house. The second house is all about your possessions. So again, this is the circle of life, like the Lion King. And when we get to the second house, we're sort of growing out of that newborn infancy, and we suddenly realize that some stuff in the world is ours. It's only ours. We have our own possessions, and we learn this pretty early, right? You know, when little Jimmy gets a hold of the switchblade and you're trying to take it back, and he's like, no, mine. So we have this little Jimmy's figuring out that, hey, some things are mine, some things are yours, and people have their own distinct possessions. It's not like Star Trek where everybody has, access to everything kind of thing. So number 2, house number 2, is all about your own possessions, and that includes your money. This is frequently seen as the house of money, and it's material goods, and planets that hang out here are going to determine your attitudes towards money, right? So maybe we have a planet chilling out there, and the planet is going to be our buddy Mercury, and Mercury is the what? So communication about your possessions. Maybe you're going to be very communicative about your possessions. Maybe your possessions depend on your communication. The what is communication? The house is going to be the number 2. The number 2 is going to be your income, your possessions, things like that. So maybe your communication is part of your income. Maybe you're a communicator, and that brings you income, like you're on YouTube, like me, for example. So we have a communicator on YouTube, or so the way I make possessions is by communicating. So it could be a variety of different things. So now, as you can see, Mercury has come to the second house, and he's over here chilling out. So what's an easy way to remember the second house? So this is going to be gross, but I apologize in advance, but you'll never forget it. I want you to picture yourself taking a number 2 on all of your money and your possessions. So you're sort of squatting over, taking a number 2 on all of your possessions, and you get the extra bills, and you're sort of wiping with the extra bills and cleaning up with the extra possessions and money. So again, gross, that's what a lot of memorization techniques are, but hey, you'll never forget it. So the second house is number 2, is taking a dump on your possessions and then wiping with the excess money. So that is going to be your possessions and your money. So we have the big finger for the number 1, and number 2, we're taking a number 2 on our possessions. So now you're thinking, okay, Mercury is hanging out with me over here in the money section or the self section. How long does he stay there? Does he stay there forever or for a limited time, or how does all that work? Well, the planets are constantly in motion. Here's a graphic that will show you all the planets in motion, and you can see that some of them move much faster than the others, right? Around the rotation, and every one of them moves at a different rate. The sun, for example, will move through a sign basically in 30 days. The Mercury, which is the guy we've been watching, Mercury is going to be about 14 to 30 days. So let's say about 20 days. Venus is going to take a month to move through a sign, and Mars takes a month and a half. Now here we come to the slower planets. Slower planets are going to be like Jupiter. Jupiter is going to take a whole year to move through a sign, and Saturn even longer, 2.5 years. So you're thinking, okay, well, the what and the where. So the what is going to be in the where for 2.5 years? Yeah. It's going to be for 2.5 years. So if you have a good planet in a house, so communication at work, or communication moves faster than 2.5 years. You know what I'm saying? So if you have a what in a where, it could be there anywhere from 14 days to 2.5 years. It depends on the planet and a lot of other factors. So you're looking at some good stuff for a short term. Mercury, our little guy we've been watching, is again 14 to 30 days. So you could be looking at up to a month of enhanced communication with money, enhanced communication all over the place. And that's exciting, right? Because you could be looking at 2.5 years if you're looking at Saturn. Saturn's not exactly the best planet to be stuck somewhere, but so that, obviously for a forecast or for a horoscope type lifetime effect, some of these things move very slowly. So just keep that in mind when you think of planets moving around and chilling out in these houses. So the next house is going to be the 3rd house, and that's all about communication. Let's write in communication here. And it's easy to remember because 3 rhymes with tree, and for the 3rd house we have the communication tree on the screen. We have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, so many places to communicate, so many ways to communicate it. So the 3rd house is about not only your communication, but about your siblings as well. Now I know you're asking, what about mom and dad? What about my parents? Well, they're in the next house. The 3rd house is about school, learning, siblings, and communication tree. So we're born here, and then we learn some stuff is ours and only ours. And now we start learning. We start learning to communicate with other people. We start learning how to communicate, and probably yelling, mine, mine is not the best way to communicate our possessions. So we start learning how to communicate with our siblings. We're like, hey, I got a brother and a sister, some brothers, some sisters. I need to figure out how to talk to them, how to communicate with them, how to keep them from whacking me in the face, whatever like that. So the tree is 3. 3 rhymes with tree, and it's the communications tree. Now, what if we have a communication planet inside a communication house? What happens then? Well, we have sort of an enhanced communication. We are better at the learning process. We're better at communicating at school, right? We're better at communicating with our siblings. So there are all sorts of different things that make our communication better. And having Mercury, our buddy Mercury, the communication, chilling out over here, makes our communication even better. So that is the third house, the tree with 3. So the fourth house we come to is all about home. It's all about home and family. Now, they talk about your dominant parent here. Basically, it's to concern with your parents. And an easy way to remember the 4 is to think of a golf club. You know, when golfers golf, they yell 4, and then they whack the ball. So imagine instead of the ball on the tee, you have a tiny little house. It's your tiny little house on the tee, and he's about to whack it with a golf club and probably send it down range, I guess. So he's about to whack it with the golf club, and he's yelling 4. So 4 means the home and family, and that's again a relationship with your stronger parent, and it's how you conduct yourself in private. Again, this bottom section, right? This bottom section is all about our private life or our private little world. So this is below the horizon in our private little world. And again, this is going to be about your family, people that you care for, and your dominant parent. So that's interesting that it's about the home and 4. If you look at actually tarot card, there's a lot of different tarot cards that deal with home and shelters and things like that. So the number 4 is frequently associated with home or, you know, sort of an enclosed space, family, things like this. So it should be easy for you to remember not only this, but also apply it to your tarot readings as well. So if you look at a lot of the numerology meanings of 4, etc. So the 4 is about home and family, easy to remember with the golfing image. Now, I want you to remember as well, if you wander Mercury into the home, right? Let's wander Mercury into the 4th house and wander Mercury into the home. You look like maybe your influential parent is a talker. Your influential parent is good at communicating with you. Maybe you're good at communicating with your family, and in your own private place in your home and things, you're good at that communication. Now, you could have other planets other than Mercury in here. Let's say Venus, for example. Venus is about the love, the lovey-dovey, huggy-kissy. You could have that wandering around in here, and Venus wandering around in here sort of brings those together. Again, the what, where. So lovey-dovey, huggy-kissy at home, right? So you have that kind of a feel as well. So that is the 4th house. Again, extremely easy to remember that one. So now we come to the 5th house. The 5th house is about your creativity and expression. So we have creativity. Looks like an N. Creativity. There you go. Creativity and expression. How you express yourself, how you have fun as well. So it's about creativity and expression. And an easy way to remember this is 5 means live. You're live on stage. That's right, everybody's watching you. It's your time to shine. It's your time to show everyone how your creativity works, and it's time for you to express yourself. Again, we're still on the bottom here with the section for ourselves, but we're trying to figure out how to express ourselves. Again, the circle of life, we started here, we're born. We figured out some stuff is mine, mine, all mine. We learned to start communicating with other people. We started communicating and how words come together, etc., with siblings as well. Now we start communicating with our parents. We learned that we have a home, where the home is. We wander off and we return just like a lost doggy. So that's our home and our family. Now we're trying to figure out how to express ourselves, how to be individual, how to make ourselves be separate from everybody else by showing our creative side. And that's also how you spend your leisure time as well. So talking about love, romance, children, creativity, sports, gamble, just everything that you have fun doing here as well. So what happens when Mercury wanders in? Mercury has wandered into the 5th house. What happens? Well, it means how you express yourself creatively, right? It means that you can creatively express yourself through speaking, through writing, or something like that. So the what is going to be, I'm going to be able to communicate, and the where is going to be creatively. So I'm going to be able to communicate creatively. I'm going to be really cool, really good with being a talker and things like this. So I'm going to be able to write, to speak, to communicate myself, to express myself well when Mercury is chilling out in the 5th house. And again, how long is Mercury going to stay there? Well, he's going to stay in every sign for 14 to 30 days. So could be a good time or it could be a bad time to creatively express myself. And that is pretty much the 5th house. Easy to remember. 5 means live. You are live on stage, ready to express yourself. Now, the 6th house is all about day-to-day, let's call it boring work. This is not your career. This is just working. And it also means your co-workers as well. So again, the what and the where. The where is going to be boring work. Now, I know you're thinking, what about my career, right? I want a career in medicine. I want a career in IT. Well, that's going to be over here in the 10th house. And again, we're still on sort of the private side. We haven't exploded out into the public yet. And when we do, part of our explosion into the public, part of our explosion into other places and other people is going to be the career, which is going to be hanging out over here in the 10th house, right? So maybe boring work is it's sort of day-to-day work. It's not career, right? It's just day-to-day work. And also your coworkers. So what happens when we drop a planet into the day-to-day workhouse? Well, if it's Mercury, which we see has decided to grace our presence in the 6th house, he's chilling out. Pop quiz, how long is he chilling out? 14 to 30 days. That's right. Boring work, day-to-day work, co-workers. That means that you like a day-to-day work. You like it in a communication style, right? Speaking, writing, etc. Again, it doesn't matter your career, but you like to communicate and be talkative and be a communicator for day-to-day work. That could be you're a YouTuber, or you're on Twitch, or you're a professional Instagrammer, I don't know. So you like it, maybe you're a news reporter, weather woman, weatherman. So you like communicating. It's something that you like. It's like boring day-to-day work. You like communicating. So again, it's not a career. If you really want to be a weatherman, weatherwoman for the rest of your life, that's going to be over here again. But day-to-day work and how you interact with your coworkers. So if Saturn has decided to grace our presence over here in the 6th house, then that means that we enjoy something with a little bit of communication for work. It's not something where we want to be like one of those things where you work from home and you never talk to anybody. You just sit there and code software or something. You know, it's not going to be one of those. You're not going to be like that. And that's because we have the what of Mercury in the day-to-day work house. So how do we remember 6 means day-to-day work? Easy to remember. Just think of hauling bricks. So the work, what work are you doing? You're hauling bricks. 6 bricks, hauling bricks, 6. That's not a career. This is not something that you're going to be wanting to do for the rest of your life, nor wanting to do for a living for any long period of time. It doesn't look pleasant at all. You're hauling bricks. Bricks 6. It's going to be the day-to-day work, hauling them bricks. Got to get them bricks out. Got to get it done. You got coworkers you can talk to, people hauling bricks with you. So bricks equals 6. Easy way to remember it. And that actually concludes the private side of yourself, right? That concludes everything. You were born, you figured out this is mine. You learned to communicate with people online as well as your siblings. You learned about family and home. You figured out that you want to be creative and express yourself. So again, the circle of life, we're going to death. We're starting out with the circle of life. We're born, etc., etc. As we grow up, try to make ourselves creative. We try to express ourselves, make ourselves unique in the world. And then we start work. It's time to go to work, unfortunately. I hate that. You're having a good day, and it's time to go to work. So unfortunately, you have to go to work. The day-to-day work, I guess maybe not boring, maybe day-to-day work, and you start interacting with coworkers, and we're sneaking up. We're sneaking up on the far side. That far side, now we get to start interacting with the rest of the world. We're going to find our lover over here. Are you ready? I'm ready. I'm ready to find my lover. We're going to find our lover over here in the next video. I want you to stay tuned. Please hit like and subscribe if you like this video. I hope you do. I put a lot of work into it. So I want to thank my Patreon subscribers. That's basically where they give me $5 a month, and it helps me pay for all the effects that you've seen in here. I hope you have liked them. So that would be Annie Lamaster, Crystal McGinn, Gary Fink, Hot Chocolate, Janet Littler, KSW, La Ami, Richard Z, Scott Miller, and Shintaro Kuga. They have helped me pay for the software that made all of this possible. Thank you so much for being a Patreon subscriber. If you'd like to subscribe, link in the description. And as always, please hit like and subscribe. It gets more people onto the channel, and we can sort of join in and be a fun community of people that love astrology and tarot and everything metaphysical, right? So again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.